Let me get my screen back up and going. All right, there we go. And all right. So, welcome everyone. This is Kitsap Market Channels. And so glad to have everybody here. So glad to have so many market representatives and market channel representatives gathered in one place. This is super exciting. And yeah, like I said, this class will be recorded, so it's going to exist as a resource for you to reference back to in the future. And yeah, just really we want this to exist as a resource for people to return to. And because of that, any information shared is subject to change. And that includes the dates of the market, any regulations required by the market channel, vendor requirements, and any fees. And I don't think I introduced myself. My name is Claire Menard. I am with WSU Kitsap Extension, and I also work with WSU Regional Small Farms. And so just some housekeeping things. If you want any of these market channel representatives to have your email and potentially contact you, just put it in the chat right now and they can gather that information, or I can send it to them after the class. And that way, both parties have each other's info. And then I'm also going to put a link in the chat, and this is for our evaluation in case you have to leave early. Really helps us just design classes like this and bring better and better content to local area farmers. All right, so this is Kitsap Market Channels, and this class started out because we wanted to gather these market channels together and really create a class, a cohesive look at what Kitsap has to offer area farmers and food producers in terms of potential revenue streams across the county. And Kitsap is unique in that we're not a very big county, but we have a pretty robust local food system, and we have a high population of people that are ready to purchase local food. So our goal with this info session is to give potential vendors and whether they're farmers or food producers, we want to give them a clear idea of what these market channels are looking for and what it takes to sell through these market channels. And we also wanted to provide a place for people to connect with each other and put some faces to the names of these folks who are really working hard to strengthen our local food system. And I also wanted to note that not all farmers markets and public markets are here tonight. And also, after the market channels present, there's going to be plenty of time for a Q&A session. You'll get to ask questions. In the meantime, feel free to drop any questions that come up for you in the chat, and maybe someone can answer them right away, or maybe we'll address them during the Q&A session. All right, so let's get started. All right, so we are starting out this info session with probably the least exciting topic when it comes to market channels, but also very important information to know. So these are all different requirements wherever you sell, and what requirements you need depend on your type of business and the product you sell. And as you're deciding which market channel is a good fit for your farm business, market channel reps will be able to go more in depth with you about all their permit, licenses, and insurance requirements. And before we dive in, a lot of you, when you registered, had questions about permits and regulations for market channels that unfortunately we're not going to be covering in this session, such as farm stands, U-pick, and for example, what kind of permits you might need when using a commercial kitchen to create your product. And those are all very important and valid questions. We just don't have time to cover those topics tonight. But the resource list that I sent you does have a link to the WSDA Small and Direct Market Farming Handbook or the Green Handbook. And this is going to cover a lot of those questions. But I also urge you to reach out to me, Claire Menard, or another extension agent or some other resource providers in the area with these questions, because that's what we're here for, is to answer those questions and help guide you through understanding what is needed for your farm business. So these listed are just general vendor requirements. And yeah, sometimes these topics can be pretty confusing. So luckily all the presenters here tonight, as well as myself, can help you figure out what you need and point you to the right resources. So starting out, you'll probably need a business license and a UBI, which is what you get when you sign up for a business license. And UBI just means unique business identifier. And a business license is a basic requirement of most businesses, specifically if you gross $12,000 or more, hire employees, or do anything that requires collecting sales tax. And you'll also probably need a city license. And most of the cities where our farmers markets take place require an additional license to sell in that city. And it's really easy to apply for these endorsements at the same time that you file your state licenses and registration. A lot of these farmers markets, I think all of them, require insurance. And usually that's a general commercial liability insurance. And most markets require vehicle insurance as well, since you'll be driving into the area to drop off your stuff. And commonly your insurance for your farm will have a rider for this. You can just add this on if you don't have it already. And it's either for selling direct sales off the farm or at farmers markets. And, you know, insurance is such a complex subject. It also depends on what you're selling. So, yeah, again, this is something me or other market channel reps or another resource provider are very happy to help you navigate. And then depending on the type of business and what you sell, your farm may need additional licenses and permits. Again, the WSDA handbook is a great resource for understanding what you need. You might need a county health department permit. It isn't required of whole fruits and veggies or those selling under the cottage food permit from the WSDA, but it is required of foods, if selling foods that require temperature control or ready to eat foods. And it's also required of sampling foods. Also, weighing and measuring device registration. That's just if you are selling any product that you weigh. And again, super easy to get registered for that. I threw the link in that resource list for your information. And then also different farmers markets have different handbooks and agreements. The other market channels may as well. And so in these guides, they're going to outline qualifications and expectations in far greater detail than I can. And presenters are going to cover some of that tonight, but the handbooks again are going to go way more in depth. And so just real quick, I wanted to show you a really great resource. So we'll stop screen sharing. So I wanted to show everyone this resource. This is the website, the Washington State Farmers Market Association. And this is their homepage here, but they also have this link here to vendor resources. When you click on it, it just has a wealth of information about starting out as a farmer's market vendor. And I really liked this piece here. because it's what licenses, permits, and insurance do I need to sell at a farmer's market. And it even goes over taxes. So it has all these helpful links. Some of these links are also in that resource list and they're a little bit more updated than on this website, but a lot of these, yeah, there's just a whole wealth of information here. You can even click this to look up what city needs a business license. This is the weights and measure link. We have this for the green book. That's the WSDA book. You can look up different tax guides. You can look up what different foods is required, requires a county health department permit. You know, it really changes county to county. So it's always good to check with your specific county. But luckily, Kitsap County is right there. And then it also covers insurance. So I just wanted to share that with folks and yeah, just give them an idea of what kind of resources are out there for them. Let's see. All right, back to this screen. All right, and then briefly, I just wanted to cover some terminology that you may encounter when exploring different market channels and starting out, especially selling at the farmers market. So again, WSFMA is the Washington State's Farmers Market Association, and they're a nonprofit that supports farmers markets and their vendors in a number of ways. That includes online tools, like I just showed you, technical assistance, and they also support farmers markets and all of these different programs that I'll cover next. And they also promote farmers markets through various marketing campaigns. So many markets in Kitsap are affiliated with WSFMA, but not all. And membership has certain annual requirements to be a part of it. All right, so these different food assistance programs, I'll just cover them real quick. We have Senior FMNP and WIC, and that's Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program in Women, Infants, and Children. And this is a federal program that provides fresh, nutritious, unprocessed, and locally grown fruits, vegetables, and cut herbs to WIC participants and low-income seniors. And these are through funds that can be used at the farmers market. And then there's also SNAP and EBT. And SNAP is the program that provides low-income individuals and families with food benefits. And EBT is just how they access those funds. But I thought it was important to include these because the two terms are often used interchangeably. And then also another program that's really important to know about is SNAP Market and Produce Match. And this allows markets and retail outlets to match SNAP money. And this is so that recipients of SNAP can use that money to stretch their budget while also supporting local farms. And it's a really great program. They can use it to buy fresh fruits and vegetables and herbs and things like that. And yeah, a really strong program. And oh, an example of how it works is that, for instance, they can go to the farmers market booth and give the farmers market $10 off their EBT card, and then they receive $20 in SNAP market match currency, and they get to just spend that on fresh produce. All right, so we got all that terminology and the nitty-gritty regulations-esque stuff out of the way. So now we are going to pivot to hearing from all the different market channels that exist in Kitsap County. So starting off with the Bainbridge Farmers Market. In
Hello.
area, like, oh yeah.
Sorry. Hi.
Hi, go ahead.
Right. Hi, guys. My name is Erica. I'm the market manager for the Bainbridge Market. So our schedule, we do Saturdays 10 to 2, the first Saturday of April through the week before Thanksgiving. So this upcoming Saturday is going to be our last market this year. But we open our applications for 2026 in January, and then they're due in March. Um, yeah, so it's kind of crazy. The season is coming to an end, but it feels right for this time of year. What vendors need to know. So our market, we have a system where we have voting members and contract members. Our voting members are people who grow on Bainbridge. They're really local and they are involved with our board so they can vote at our membership meeting. And then a contract member is someone who comes from out of area. So that's like out of our school district boundaries and kind of out of what we consider local. And so contract vendors pay a little bit higher fee, but we still welcome vendors from outside of area because we acknowledge that sometimes there's products that our local Bainbridge people can't provide. Um, and so we accept people from out of area as well. When you apply, we have you list like your products that you're going to sell so we can determine if there's too much of one, if we need to kind of balance out. So that's an important part of the application. And then our applications are due March 2nd for this next upcoming season. So our breakdown of our fees, every vendor every year has to submit an application. So everybody pays the $30 application fee. And then it's a $35 membership fee to be like a member of the market, and then $50 if you're a contract vendor or out of area vendor. A local vendor pays 35 to 40 per market depending on your location. So we have like an inside row and an outside row, and the outside row pays a little bit more because it's way easier to access when you're loading and moving stuff from your cars because you can park right up on the outsides. And so that's the reason that we charge more for that, is just because it's super convenient. And then if you're outside the area, that just increases $5. And then June through September, since those are our busiest months, we add a 2% charge to the booth fee. So in these months, yeah, you pay your normal booth fee and then add on 2% of your sales. And that just helps us to generate some more income for our market during the time when it's super busy. And then what makes our market special? So our location is really close to our downtown um, main like strip, and it's really close to the ferry. And it's actually our market is kind of unique in that we get a lot of tourists who come to just do a day trip from Seattle to Bainbridge, and it's from walking distance to the ferry. So lots of tourists come in the summer months, and it adds a interesting dynamic to our market because a lot of tourists are looking for more of the crafted goods and the hot food items, not a ton of like produce, but we still have a mix of, locals who come every single market and then tourists. So that's kind of unique about our market. Um, we have like parking on both sides, so it is super easy to just unload from your car just right to your spot. That makes it easy. Um, it's a beautiful location. There's, trees and grass. And then we have like a long history of farming on Bainbridge. And so we've had this market going for a lot of years. We have a lot of our vendors who have been vendors from the very beginning. So that's kind of cool to see that history of our market and how it's continued on. Yeah.
On Erica, did you want to talk about the zucchini race?
Oh yeah. Yeah, so that photo there, our market does this fun thing. We call it the zucchini race every summer where kids have a chance to like decorate a zucchini, either from their garden or we get a bunch of them donated from TNC, and they can decorate a zucchini and turn it into like a car. And then at our market, we have a big ramp and all the kids and vendors, adults actually do it too, but people can race their zucchini down the ramp and it's kind of fun. And we have prizes, and it's been like a really long tradition from the Bainbridge market. And so, yeah, that's kind of a fun event that we do.
I remember decorating a zucchini. It was very
Mhm.
fun. It did
Yeah,
not win though.
yeah. It's just fun. Like kids just want to see them roll down a ramp, and yeah, it's a fun time.
Yeah, it's a good tradition.
So we have some incentives. Our market is constantly trying to get more farmers at our market, and so we've thought about ways to make it more accessible to small farmers starting out. And so one of those ways is we offer the first 3 markets free if you're a new farmer who wants to try it out. This kind of gives you a chance to test the waters and come do the market for free and see if it's a good fit. And then I've really been trying to encourage vendors to collaborate with other small farmers and collaborate with even some of the vendors that we currently have. I think doing a collaborative booth where like you could have a crafter and a processor and whoever, they can share a booth and kind of share the time of someone manning it, of hauling the stuff, of having the tent and the equipment. I think I just think it's a valuable thing for small farmers to take advantage of. And if anybody wants to reach out to me, I could maybe see if I could help pair you with another vendor that could share, or if small farmers can, find a partner and share. I think collaborative booths hopefully make doing a market more approachable for small farmers. And so, yeah, I hope that that's something that people can take advantage of. And I actually created a Google form with a collaborative booth kind of fill out sheet. It's on our website. There's a link to it, but then you can fill out the sheet and see the responses and see who has responded and maybe link up with another farm that is interested in sharing. But yeah.
All right. Well, great. Thank you, Erica.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. Next, we are going to hear from Willow Castillo of the Kingston Public Market.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. Thank you, Claire, for putting this together, and thank you for all of the participants that are online tonight, and especially those that are still cutting zucchinis or cucumbers or whatever. I think we was cutting up while we were starting off. But as Claire said, my name is Willow Castillo. I'm the co-manager of the Kingston Public Market and the Kingston Sunset Market. We are currently entering our 31st season, and for over 3 decades, we've created a place where farmers, food producers, and artisans can connect directly with our customers in a friendly waterfront setting that makes Kingston very special in a community energy and accessibility. It's a beautiful destination, and we're hoping to be able to add more farmers as we go throughout the year and hopefully after tonight. So the Kingston Public Market operates every Sunday. It goes from May to October, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. The Kingston Sunset Market operates on the first Saturday of the month, and it operates from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. June. Oh, actually, we changed that. We're actually gonna go May through September next year. So we figured we'd add another month, another day really, for our customers to be able to participate in the market. And we feel it's very important, especially from the Sunset Market aspect, to add on that additional day there, just to be able to expand that season for our vendors and the customers that come participate in the markets. So basically, it's just as Claire mentioned earlier, it's a lot of the very similar requirements with regards to selling produce. Proper labeling. It must be Washington grown produce. We don't have a restriction with regards to location. I mean, we can take farmers as far away from Eastern Washington if they're willing to travel. We actually have a vendor that actually comes from Leavenworth every Sunday. So there's no restriction with regards to location. They just have to meet the prerequisite requirements that are established in the guidelines at the market. Our applications right now we should be opening up here probably late December, early January. They can register through they go to our website at the kingstonpublicmarket.com, and they'll be redirected there through Manage My Market, and they can apply through that process there. Um, I will say that we don't charge an application fee. The vendors will register. There's no fee to be involved when it comes to applying for the market. The booth fee is a $30 fee for a 10 by 10 space. We're not going to be stringent if for some reason your booth leaks out a little bit past the 10 by 10 space. It's fine. You'll find that our market's a very laid back, very family oriented market. Obviously we do have guidelines and rules and regulations that we have to go by, but if for some reason you have pumpkins or some larger produce or something that you want to display or sell, and it leaks a little bit out of the booth, that's okay. We don't charge commissions for any of our vendors, so there are no commission fees throughout the season. Our goal is to hopefully, you work very hard to create your produce and sell it. So we want to make sure that you can take home as much of your income as possible. So we do not charge a sales commission for our vendors. So what makes the market unique or special? It's our location. I mean, we are Mike Wallace Park. It's right next to the Washington State Ferry. It's a nice, large green grass park. Um, we like to say that hopefully nobody here works for the Washington State Ferries, but we like to say that we benefit from the inefficiencies of the Washington State Ferry. Quite frankly, when the Sunday afternoon when they make the announcements that the ferries are running a couple hours late, we all kind of go, yes. We're all pretty excited because that just means people get out of their cars, and when you look to your right, you just see nothing but these large white canopies, and everybody it's just a natural transition for people to go down there and spend their afternoons. Especially we have live music on the stage. Same thing with the Kingston Sunset Market. We have live music there. So it's a very, very beautiful location, and again, the vendors love it because you're on grass, and a lot of times you'll have people just bring lawn chairs, sit down, enjoy the afternoon or in the morning, and listen to music, get a bite to eat, buy some produce or some gifts, and kind of just hang out in the market and make a day of it. Um, we do get a lot of ferry traffic, but we also get a lot of locals as well, right? So it's a Sunday market. It's unlike most markets. It operates on Sunday, so it gives the farmers an opportunity to sell in a unique environment. It's less competitive from the standpoint of, it's not a Saturday market. It's only Sunday, and again, it offers that opportunity for those farmers to work on a Sunday where they have a lot of controlled environment with regards to customers that are there to visit and purchase things. So again, as I mentioned earlier, there's no fee for applying. There's no
Just a
commissions.
reminder,
Oh,
please.
sorry. There's an announcement going on. I apologize.
Here, if you have
Can you guys hear that?
lights on in your booth, if you
You
could
can?
please
Okay,
turn
yeah.
them
Sorry. There.
each night, we would appreciate it. So please turn your lights off in your booth. Thanks.
All right. So so again, it's reduced pricing for farmers. The vendors pay a little higher fee, but again, we're trying to incentivize those local farmers to have an area or a location to sell their produce. So we don't charge them. We charge them a little less. They have the opportunity to vend in more than one market. I think that the other unique thing about ours is you're not obligated to be there the entire season. If you want to try it out in the month of June or July, or you want to try it a couple days, you're more than welcome to do so. You're not obligated to be there for the entire season. And the neat thing about our market from that standpoint is we have a lot of activities that happen throughout the season. We'll have kids corner, we'll have a vintage flea market, we'll have a wellness event. So it's really neat to be able to, as a vendor, be able to add and participate in those areas because they do draw a lot of local residents for those activities.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Willow.
Perfect. And again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to us afterwards and or send us an email, and we'll be more than happy to answer any specific questions that you may have.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, we have Casey from the Port Orchard Farmers Market. Casey Pearson.
Yep. Hello, everyone. Um, so let's see. I'm Casey. I am currently the treasurer of the board, and I've been manager in the past. Um, so I've vended at the Port Orchard Farmers Market almost my whole life, so I love my market. All right. The Port Orchard Farmers Market is open mid-April through mid-October. We run on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Let's see. Things that you need to know about our market. We do take farmers from anywhere in Washington State. We do provide preference for farmers that are in Kitsap County or the Kitsap Peninsula. Our applications for this next year will be opening in January, and they can be found on our website or on our Facebook page. You can apply anytime during the year, even after our applications are closed, just by reaching out to our market manager, because we will take farmers any time of the year. Last year we did start filling up on farmers, so getting it in earlier is better. All right. We have two different types of farm vendors. So if you want to be a farmer that's there multiple times throughout the season, you want a full 10 by 10 space, you would need to join us as a member. That's $50 a year. And then the market booth space for a 10 by 10 is $45 per market day. We do offer half stalls at $35 and then double spaces, which would be 90. Our other program, which is great for first-time farmers that just want to give it a try, we have our backyard farmer classification. Backyard farmers can sell, it's just produce, so it could be even someone that just has excess from their own garden. If they want to come and sell that at the market, they can. There's no membership fee. It's $20 per day for a 5 by 10 space, and you can vend up to 5 times throughout the season. If you find out that you really like being at the market and it's working out for you, you can always switch into a full farmer membership after you've tried it out. All right. So things that make us special. We are located in a large parking lot, so you can drive up to your space to unload and load. Makes things real easy. We're in an active downtown area. We get boat traffic from the marina. There's a little foot ferry that goes across to Bremerton. We have a park next to us, so we have families coming. So it's a really, really good location on the waterfront. We are also the oldest and biggest market in Kitsap. So next year will be our 48th year. We currently have 130 vendors, normally averaging about 75 per market day. And a good portion of those are farm vendors. For programming, we do have our Pop Kids Club, which is the second Saturday of every month. And that's where kids can come and participate for free, learn about farming and produce and all sorts of fun stuff. And then they get $4 in tokens to spend at any farm booth. So that's specifically for they have to spend it at a farmer. We also have music, live music every day. It's a big fun market. Let's see. So our vendor incentives, like I said, the Backyard Farmer Program is a great way to get started. Just try it out. Our farmers do pay a lower booth fee than the rest of our vendors do. If you have only a few things, you can share a booth with another farmer. We've had ones where somebody that just sold eggs partnered with one of our other farmers so that they could sell it out of their booth. And that works really well, teaming up to be able to do stuff like that. We don't require you to attend every Saturday, so you can just attend the weeks that make sense for you. You sign up ahead of time for which days that you want, but as long as you let us know by the Thursday prior, you can change your mind and either attend or not attend. So we are very, very flexible on that.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Casey. And then, yeah, Casey mentioned something about the booth fee being a per market fee. And I just wanted to clarify, yeah, I wish I would have put that in the slides as a clarification, but anytime that you see a booth fee listed, that means it's a per market fee, not the whole season. All right, but thank you, Casey. All right, next up we have Paulina DeStefano and Jane Sebastian from the Bremerton Farmers Market.
Thanks so much, Claire. As she mentioned, my name is Paulina DeStefano. I am the president of the board at the Bremerton Community Farmers Market, and Jane Sebastian is also joining me as well as our interim market manager to really sell you all on how wonderful our market is. So we run a seasonal Thursday market. It's really meant to align with sort of the productive harvest season and also, you know, as a workday market, capture some of the traffic that we get in Bremerton from the shipyard. We're open in the evenings, generally from 4 to 7 for the bulk of the season, although we do shift to slightly earlier hours to capture better daylight in the fall as the days get shorter. So our requirements don't vary too much from what you've already heard from the other markets tonight. We are a WSFMA market, so farmers must be in Washington State or in the counties that border Washington State and Oregon or Idaho. We do have farmers that are traveling from sort of the Columbia Gorge area and from Eastern Washington. So if you're willing to travel, we are happy to have you at our market. Our applications are opening up in January, and you know it's a fairly simple process that we'll be updating this year. And we're very happy to walk through applications with anyone who has any questions about permits and some of those things as well. So turning to our fee structure, we haven't finalized our 2026 fees yet. So this is from our 2025 vendor handbook, but we really don't expect too much to change. We have a nominal application fee, so it's $20 for new vendors. Again, we tend to sort of do a little bit more support work with those new vendors, helping with sort of understanding permit processes, and then $10 for returning vendors. And then similar to what you've seen with some of the other markets, we have this sort of bifurcated system where we have member vendors and then our sort of daily vendors. Member vendors have a sort of a stake in the market. They're able to vote at our annual meetings and really help guide the market. So that membership is $60 a year, and it does come with a discount for the daily stall fee. And so you can read those figures there. And then for daily vendors, just to point out that our member vendors aren't required to vend, you know, the entire year. The daily is I think sort of a loose term there. So daily vendors are really just non-market members. So they do not pay a membership and they have slightly higher fees associated with those stalls. We really don't try to charge commission or anything along those lines and really try and keep it accessible for all farmers.
Yeah, so I'm going to jump in here about what makes this market special because, of course, I love this market and I love Bremerton and I want to share that love. But we're located in a really cute neighborhood that's probably like 10 blocks from downtown and the ferry. It's on Dyes Inlet, so it's close to the water and a boat ramp. It's a beautiful treed park setting. And so people love to come to it for like to get prepared, do the market shopping, get the prepared food, and then have a picnic. And we have live music. Most markets do, but we have live music every day. And then there's also this really epic playground that's right there. So it's like a kid explosion. Um, and so that brings the families, and that's really awesome. And it's on the grass. It's Thursday afternoon, goes into the evening. So it's kind of like we're not competing with the more like larger, more established markets. We've been around for about 22 years. We're probably a little bit more on the smaller side, but um, still have a lot of vendors and it's a lot of fun. But we're not competing with other markets on the weekend. And so it's a good, small chunk of time that you can use there. We're also a little less expensive. Um, and yeah, and I think next, yeah. So, but also I wanted to say about the programming is that we have a chef at the market, we have yoga at the market, we have music at the market every time. We have a kids market buck club, and I will say that Port Orchard is like the big market, and so to find out that we give six kids market bucks clubs compared to their four, I'm like shocked. So, but yeah, so. We're also like a huge part of what our market is to lift up our community and have them lift us up too. So we're really focused on community integration. And then we have like free community booths that come. There's Paws stops by, and so there's kittens. And then we work with youth organizations like a Bremerton Youth Art Hive and the Youth Advisory Council. So we actually have a lot of youth that come to our market along with the kids that come for the playground. Um, but then to get into the vendor incentives, which we're still figuring those out because we want more farms and we want to support farms whatever way that we can. And so if there's an incentive that you feel like you'd like to see, definitely reach out to me, manager at Bremerton Community Farmers Market. But we pretty much copying Port Orchard on this one, but we have the Backyard Farmer program. We just want to make it easier. If somebody's like growing, but they're not like, they don't have enough for a full booth. It's like, let's do that. And then we also encourage that collaboration to like come together with other farmers. We want to support you whatever way we can. We have a youth program, so it's really cute. We got like the cotton candy guy, um, uh, and Mateo who does cards and these almonds, and it's really cool to see that. And so we definitely have the shared booths. And then for me, uh, a huge part of our market is that we just care. We want to like empower. We want to empower farmers. We want to empower all of our vendors. So we do a lot to try to promote them. We have a vendor spotlight. You get like a special spot at the market. Um, you get a full page on the website. We promote it on our socials. Um, and to us, we don't care. We want you to succeed, whether you're at Bremerton or a different market or wherever. So, or if you're at like a community event, we love to promote things in Bremerton. So, I would say the promoting's a big thing, and we want to get bigger on that. And then it's a fun market, afternoon fun market. Um, Low price entry. But anyway, we want to help you whatever way that we can. So always feel free to reach out to me. Um, and yeah, love to have you.
Thank you so much, Jane and Paulina. That was great to hear all about Bremerton. Yeah, and I just wanted to reiterate to everyone in the meeting, I sent out that resource list and I'm going to send it again in the follow-up email, and it has everyone's contact information. So, yeah, we'll make it real easy for you all to be in contact with each other. So next up, we have April Sims from Poulsbo Farmers Market.
Hi, I'm so glad we're doing this. I've been wanting to do something like this for a while. It's going to be a hard act to follow all those other markets, but as Bremerton rep mentioned, we have a lot of the same requirements. I'll try and highlight some new things. But I've been with the market. This will be my 7th season coming up. So I've been there a long time and I didn't know anything about markets, and I've learned a lot. And our main mission at Poulsbo is to support local farmers and connect them with our community. And we see ourselves as the conduit between that. So we're really here to serve you, to give you an outlet to connect with community and the members of the community who want to buy your product. So we are open. We have 38 markets in a season. We strive to hit that number every time. And so sometimes the calendar is a little wonky. So like next year, we'll actually be opening on the last Saturday of March. And we go through the mid-December. December 13th is our last day this year. So we are still in session. We have market on Saturday, and I mentioned that most of our farms are still going, but 2 of our bigger farms here in Kitsap will be having their last market day. So if you're just curious about the Poulsbo Farmers Market or want to talk to some farmers who've been there, both Full Tilt Farm and Pump House Farm will be having their last market day this Saturday at the Poulsbo Farmers Market. But we do go April through December, and it is rain or shine. I have been in the parking lot shoveling snow after a snowstorm so that our farmers can have space to sell their products. So it takes a lot for us to not have a market. So we do give priority to Kitsap makers of all sorts, but definitely farmers. So if you are from Kitsap, and you sell lettuce and a farmer from Jefferson County applies and wants to sell lettuce too, we are going to give priority to our Kitsap farmers. But that being said, if a farmer from one of the surrounding counties wants to sell something that one of our farmers is not already, like the market's not already inundated with, we are going to give priority. The priority circle just extends out from the center. We also have fruit vendors from Eastern Washington who come and sell. So the main goal is just to feed the community and like I said, to create that connection between Washington farmers and the customers. Our application deadline may be changing. So normally we have been opening up our application deadline on December 1st, and that just gives everybody, a lot of people finish this season and they're like, I just want to get it over with. So we're just like, go ahead, send it in. The deadline is February 1st. It looks like we may be bumping that application opening to December 15th because we're going to change the format, but it will be in December. And you can find out on our social media. We'll advertise when it's open. Also, if you sign up for our customer newsletter, we send it out to customers to let them know in case they know somebody who wants to come to the market. So fees, everybody's fees seem to vary just a little. We do have an application fee. It's $20 if you apply before February 1st. We continue to accept applications throughout the market season. We even have vendors applying for December right now. But after that February 1st deadline, the fee does go up to $30. On your first day of vending at the market, after your application's been reviewed and you've been accepted by our board of directors to vend at the market, on your first day, if you decide to become a member of the market, you would pay a $30 membership due, and that's just that one time. And then your booth space is $20 per market day after that. Now, that being said, one thing I did want to point out is that most of our farmers, so it says $20 per 10 by 10. I can only think of one farmer who doesn't do a double booth. And one of our farmers even does a triple booth. So their booth fees are $40 and $60 depending on how big their booth space is. But I can guarantee you that they generate the sales to justify paying a little bit of extra to have a little bit of extra space. So it's money well spent for them. We also do a 5% sales fee on your sales minus sales tax, which if you're selling food, you shouldn't, I don't think you should be charging tax anyway. So, yeah, so that's our fee structure for a farmer specifically or food processors. We are located, if you've ever been to Poulsbo, you've likely been to Front Street, which is where everybody goes. It's where the marina goes, the shops, the Norwegian vibe lives, and we are about a 15-minute walk up the hill, but also we are off the highway between Bainbridge and the Olympic Peninsula. So we get our share of tourists from the marina and as well as just driving through Kitsap. But we are in a giant parking lot. I grew up in the Midwest and it reminds me of the mega church parking lots of the Midwest. It's a very big parking lot. But the great thing about that is there's always plenty of parking and it's very accessible for anybody who has difficulty, walking on grass or anything that can be prohibitive. It is easily accessible. We drivers in the morning, you would drive in, you would unload, and then you don't park next to your booth. But there is some shade in the market, and it's for a cement parking lot, we make it fun to be in. Claire can probably attest to that. She has vended once or twice in that parking lot. There is a bus stop and a bus drop off, but like I said, right off the highway, as well as close to Front Street, makes it an ideal location for traffic. We're also near the library, and so there's a lot of activity on a Saturday around the market. So part of running a market and serving a farmer is our job is to get more people to the market, and part of that is doing events and being as available to the community so they can access your product as possible. So once a month, we also have a kids club where we give away $4 in kids bucks that can only be spent on fresh fruit and produce. And the kids get so excited to buy their pint of strawberries with their $4 and or an apple. I love it when a kid buys carrots. That's always encouraging. So we do that, but really, the more I listen to all of this, one of the great things about a farmer's market to me is just being able to sell to our low income customers who use the EBT and the SNAP Market Match program. Those are some of my favorite customers because they know how to shop wisely and to preserve the produce, and you'll learn a thing or two from them, even as a farmer, about how to make food go further. So I just think that the benefit of a farmer's market is really connecting with your community. So vendors and we do collaborative booths. So just like everyone else, you can share a booth with another vendor. We've had farmers share in the past, especially like a flower farmer will maybe pair with a produce farmer, or again, eggs and produce, or even just two farmers who just aren't going to have enough to fill a booth space. We have a huge newsletter following. They're pretty dedicated to finding out the recipe. And Rebecca, who has been writing the newsletter for the last few years, has created quite the narrative in her newsletters. And she will be leaving us next year, and I'll have to learn to become my own author of interest for our newsletter fans, but I'm sure we can do it. But they are dedicated. It is a huge following. We have a very loyal customer base. The only time I can remember, I've only canceled the market twice in my 6 seasons there, and one was a heavy smoke, like red, purple, don't go outside day. And I had to go to the market, and there were at least 20 customers who came up to me while I was in the parking lot trying to take care of business because they were like, why not? So they're very dedicated, even if it endangers their health. And we are, farmers are the priority. Our mission statement is to support the farmers. So, I mean, if any of the costs seem prohibitive but you still want to try Poulsbo out, I mean, feel free to reach out. Like, we are interested in having the discussion about how you can come to our market and fit into the market and join us.
All right, thank you so much, April. And yeah, that concludes the portion of the presentation that's farmers markets. And I've really enjoyed hearing from all of you, especially the flexibility and the creativity around making farmers markets just more accessible, easier for farmers. I really like the collaborative booth. Yeah, great to hear from all of you. So next up, we have Amanda McConnell from the Kitsap Community Food Co-op.
Sorry, my mute button wasn't unclicking. Can everyone hear me now? Good. Okay. Yeah, so the co-op, we're a small member-owned grocery store currently located in downtown Bremerton. You don't have to be a member to shop there. Anyone can shop. We sell your basics in meat and dairy, shelf-stable goods, hygiene, household cleaning products, and regional and local produce. Everything from laundry soap and shampoo, candy, fresh produce, we try to buy and sell as much as possible in bulk from local and regional producers. With this next slide, I'm going to cover what is currently ideal for us in the space that we're in. And then in the next slide, I'm going to go into more of the changes that we anticipate within this next year. Currently, our compliance requirements are very similar to those of the farmers market. We require a business license and UBI number and the regulated weights and measures and inspected produce for items on the WSDA regulation list. If you are marketing yourselves as organic, we do require that you give us a copy of your certificate. Egg vendors, we ask that you have the additional license and the appropriate stickers for your cartons. And we also ask that produce arrives washed or as clean as possible because we have a very tiny hand wash sink at the co-op. So it makes for some long afternoons if we receive things that aren't washed. Currently, it's also easier for us to have items delivered. We would, however, prefer to buy directly from farmers and vendors. So we have organized volunteers to make those pickups whenever delivery isn't available. Yeah, currently, if you can deliver, that's ideal. We do a lot of end of season pickup. Marketing materials. I just actually thought of this now, Claire. Sorry, this is not a point on the slide. But if you have marketing materials that you would like us to use in the store, you are more than welcome to bring those in. Otherwise, we will make them for you from your website. So yeah, just give us a shout and send those over. I apologize. I'm going to talk about these points out of order, but I will cover them all. I will start by sharing that around this time, around the new year last year, the co-op was really struggling. Our membership numbers were growing. We have over 1,500 members, but not enough people were shopping. And so the board did a lot of active polling. We had an amazing board. They're dedicated to seeing this grow. And they learned two key takeaways from that were the desire for more consistently available local produce and a more convenient location. So my role as the local farm coordinator was kind of born out of that, to consider how we can become a reliable wholesale buyer in volumes that make it worthwhile for local growers and also offer customers a fair resale price. So to address the volume issue directly, 2 of our board members submitted a grant for funds to purchase a large walk-in fridge freezer, a 3-point wash sink, and additional display coolers, which will increase our storage and display capacity so we can buy more from you. But we won't hear about that until the spring. additionally, we are considering contracts with growers interested in growing produce for us, kind of like a CSA, but perhaps more targeted as it works with your crop rotations. So if anyone is interested in that, please send me a note and we can talk. I'd love to talk more about that. In the meantime, we are looking for a larger space to house all of these upgrades and host more community events. Ideally, we will stay in the Bremerton area, and we are working through a pretty intense 18-month phase plan right now to make it happen. Both currently, now and after the move, the co-op is open daily, year-round. We envision holding longer hours with a larger space and growing our member base. And the flower program is a co-op membership for EBT and SNAP customers at a lower $2 a month toward their membership fee. And they receive 10% off of everything all of the time instead of the standard 10% once a month. And during that time, we'll also continue to offer EBT and SNAP match through the move. The SNAP match at the co-op works. How does it work? It's $5 off of every $10 spent on fruits and veg, but it doesn't have to be fresh produce. It could be frozen or canned also. And we'd still continue to buy in bulk. And if the grant goes well, then you can give it to us dirty.
All right, Amanda, did you have anything else to add or just checking?
Yeah, no, I think I'm open for questions. So.
All right, great. Yeah, we will do the Q&A at the end. I just want to make sure. Okay, thank you so much. I'm really excited to hear about the plans for the co-op in the future. All right, next up we have Julia Zander from Kitsap Fresh.
Hey everyone. So I'm Julie. I'm the marketing and grants manager for Kitsap Fresh. And I also do a lot on our wholesale program and our expansion work. So Kitsap Fresh is a producer-owned co-op, so very similar to the food co-op, but we are run by producers and our board is mainly producer-led. We have a year-round market that we operate and with weekly sales. So the main premise of when we started, so apologies. We started about 10 years ago, and with the idea of being in conjunction with the farmers markets in the area. So it was really farmer-led and producer-led to try and have an additional sales channel in Kitsap. And so we do, our market is open every weekend from Saturday at 9 a.m. to Sunday at midnight. And then we have our producers all bring their product to our warehouse, which is in North Kitsap. And we have we aggregate the product and then distribute out to 8 different locations around Kitsap and then have home delivery on Thursdays. So our local pickup right now we have our 8 locations are pretty well spread across the county, with one at our warehouse in North Kitsap as well. And then we are doing home delivery across the county, and then we just started expanding into East Jefferson County this last week, actually. And so that is just across the bridge into Port Ludlow and Shine areas. And that was actually with the help of a grant, which we are very excited about. And so that expansion has just happening now. We have, as far as how folks apply, so we have not only farmers, but we also, similar to a farmer's market, we have prepared and processed food vendors. And when folks first apply to Kitsap Fresh, it's an online form on our website There's no application fee initially. Our board reviews it and our staff. And then if there's an acceptance, then there's a $50 onboarding fee to get them set up online on our software. We use the local food marketplace. And then ongoing, we changed it this year and updated it to a much more convenient system for both sides, both for producers and for our staff. And we do a 3% of weekly sales. So as the producers sell, they all set their own prices on what they need to achieve. And then we have 3% that comes out of the deposit that we would send to their bank. Let's see. I think we could go to the next slide. So as I mentioned, our aggregation site's in North Poulsbo. It's really in between Kingston and Poulsbo. And we have, again, our producers bring in product usually on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So anything that's fresh produce is generally coming in Wednesdays between 9 and 2. And on Tuesdays, we have some product coming in, like if there's frozen proteins or seafood, or sometimes we have folks that do granola or things of that nature, where it's a packaged, shelf stable or refrigerated product that will often come in on Tuesdays. It's kind of a beehive at the warehouse, especially on Wednesdays. So if we have anything that we can knock out ahead of time and get distributed on Tuesdays, we try to do that. We have a very efficient staff, and yeah, it's pretty fun to watch. But orders come in from producers, our staff divide them to where they need to go, and they get put into individual orders and then taken out to those drop sites on Wednesday afternoons. Almost all of our pickup sites are between 4 and 6 p.m. on Wednesdays. And then our home delivery is on Thursdays. And additionally, our home delivery in East Jefferson is also on Thursdays. And we're looking at doing a distribution like pickup site in Port Ludlow on Thursdays as well. We do require very specific labeling. Producers see who has ordered their product every week, and so they get a list from us. The market closes midnight Sunday. They get a pick list from us pretty much right after that happens, so they can pull their product or know what they need to harvest. And then they have labels that they can just print out that have all that information. The additional we would require is if it's similar to the farmer's market, they need to have all their ingredients on anything that is maybe prepared. And then we can't allow cottage industry, so no home kitchen. Everything has to be commercial kitchen. And we follow, health district and state requirements as far as WSDA. Let's see. So why sell with us? Well, so we're year round. We do try to operate every week of every year. We do have some challenges when it comes to holidays. So like we won't be doing home delivery on Thanksgiving. And I think Christmas and New Year's fall on Thursdays this year. So we have Wednesdays or Thursdays, might be a Wednesday. So we do have some challenges around the holidays where we do try to take those weeks off, and usually our producers and our staff are very grateful for that. There's no minimum product volume. So we have every size producer you can imagine locally. So from very, very small backyard farmers who just want to have some herbs that are listed every once in a while. There's no reason that they couldn't list as few or as frequently as they want or as infrequently as they want. There's no disincentive to that. The producers set their own prices. So our customers do see a markup from what the price is set at from the producer, but the producer can make that choice of how much they need to bring in. And then we have a really large customer base. We have Yeah, a very broad variety of customers across the county. And our newsletter list is over 4,000 right now, and social media, all those things. Because since we are mostly online based, we do have quite a bit of an online presence. Um, and there's a lot of marketing opportunities. So similarly, we try to work with all of our producers to do spotlights or to do highlights in our newsletter and online. The more the more social media an individual producer may have, we can share all that information. So we do try to work with folks a lot to help promote their individual products. And something that's not really in here, but it kind of is implied by the, not having to have a large amount of product to list, is that we we've been able to help a lot of startups and folks that really need that incubation of, is this product going to work or not? How, looking for a customer base and looking for sort of an entry point into the market, we can really help provide that for folks. So it's a little bit less of a commitment, at times, maybe similar to like the drop-ins at the farmers market. Um, and yeah, we have a lot of great support from our staff and from our board. So yeah.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Julia. Wow, over 4,000 subscribers to your newsletter. That's impressive. I'm excited to hear about the reach all these different market channels have. That's great. All right, our last presenter this evening is Diane Fish from the Kitsap Conservation District, and the Farm to Food Pantry Partnership is one of the programs that she runs.
Good evening, everybody. I have to say, I'm kind of excited about listening to everybody because I've been involved with supporting farmers and food systems in Kitsap for a really long time. And there was a time when we didn't have all of the exciting opportunities that were available to farmers, and we didn't have near as many farmers in Kitsap County. And so I am so grateful to be hearing about all of the opportunities for folks and to see so many people in this webinar tonight. Okay, so I am coordinating the Kitsap Farm to Food Pantry program here in our county, and we purchase farm fresh produce for the food banks and work with local farmers on supplying a variety of products to the food banks that are probably closest to them. So there are 8 food banks in Kitsap County, and we have product going to all of them, basically from the earliest availability in spring through the end of the growing season. So we still have some farmers that are delivering to food banks right now. It gives you an opportunity to feed your community, as the slide says. So we are trying to provide them with really high quality products. I think the perception is that when stuff goes to food banks, that it's overripe stuff, or it's zucchinis that are too big, or that maybe it's second quality produce. And that is not what we're trying to do. The food banks in our community have a strong emphasis on what they refer to as a dignity model, which means that they are striving to provide the clients coming to the food banks with a genuine shopping experience similar to what they would get at a local grocery store, which means that we really strive to provide, number one, and the occasional really good looking number 2 produce for the food banks. We do pay a premium for culturally appreciated foods like cilantro or Asian greens, garlic, collards, and a few other kinds of things. And we are excited to offer this opportunity to farmers because one of the things that it allows us to do is connect people with wholesale marketing, perhaps that they haven't done in the past. You want to go to the next slide? Right now, we're buying from between 13 and 15 farmers every year. We have people show up mid-season saying, "Hey, I've got all of this extra produce and I hear that you're buying." And fortunately, for the past few years, we have had ample funding. And we receive funding from the state as well as up until this year, we received funding from the federal government to purchase local produce. Right now, the federal program has been canceled, and so we're just relying on state funding right now. And we just launched a fundraising effort to backfill some of the loss of the funding from the federal program called the Kitsap Farmers Fighting Hunger. And so maybe you've seen that on social media already, but we're going to be rolling out more and more information on that. We're partnering with Washington State University and the local farmers to set up this donation fund, and the WSU Foundation has graciously agreed to host that so that all of donations can be tax deductible. All of the produce needs to be grown in Kitsap or neighboring counties. We are looking at encouraging people to use sustainable farming practices. We don't require organic. If you're a conventional farmer, we will purchase from you. And thank you, Julia, for putting that in the chat. And one of the things that we work on is farmer education. And so every year, the Produce Safety Alliance, we're heading into winter farmer education season. The Produce Safety Alliance, typically in conjunction with WSU, offers a couple of trainings on the PSA and the Food Safety and Modernization Act. It's an 8-hour training. It provides you with a certification for produce handling and produce safety. It allows you to write a farm and food safety plan for your business. It's just a really good overview on the best practices for agriculture as well as post-harvest handling. And so we encourage people to take that training if they haven't had the opportunity to do so. The chance will come around this winter sometime. And it's now being offered online. So it's, 2 days, usually 4 hours a day. They send you the book. It's really a great opportunity. Why would you want to sell here? Well, we buy produce year round. There's no minimum product volume. We have a couple people that are very, very small producers, and we're able to purchase their produce. We also have several large producers that are selling, us, hundreds and hundreds of pounds of squash and potatoes and things like that. If you have not done any wholesaling, it's a really good opportunity for you to get an intro to that. One of the things that we encourage people to think about is that, because often they're wanting to capture as much of their retail dollar as they possibly can. And so the mantra always is, direct to market. But with some planning, a dedicated wholesale market can be as lucrative and perhaps even more lucrative simply because you're not paying somebody to go to a farmer's market, or you have limited amounts of packing and packaging material. We do offer education and support for new growers. It's amazing to me the number of people that have never written an invoice. And so we provide an invoice template, and we'll talk to people about how to invoice and, the kinds of things that you need to do along with that. If you don't have a business license, we'll help you with that process. If you are selling through the Farm to Food Pantry program, we also encourage you to get a UEI, which is a Universal Entity Identifier. It is a federal recognition and a federal number that recent funding that we had, you had to have a UEI. And we are able to help you with that process. The one thing I would say, a business license through the state of Washington, you get it, and until you decide to close your business, it is yours forever. A UEI has to be renewed every year. Once you get it, the renewal process is relatively straightforward. And the added benefit is that if you are applying for a WSDA infrastructure grant or any of those kinds of state programs, Now they're requiring a UEI because sometimes the money that they are granting has some federal origin. And so if you already have your UEI, you don't have to worry about getting it before the grant is due. The other thing is that, and it was on the first slide, is that you have access to the Farm to Food Pantry branding and logo. You can put it on a website. You can use it in social media. We actually have printed signs that if you want to put it up on a farmer's market booth or even a farm stand, we can get you a copy of that. And we do have grower swag this year as well. So we have some hats and we have some other stuff. And we have temporary tattoos, which are really popular with the kids. And so we think it's a great program because it provides you the opportunity to nourish your community. Sometimes people will say, well, why don't farmers just donate? They should just donate. And, the bottom line for me is that I want farmers to be successful in a business. And while they can donate, I think it's important for them to receive compensation for the produce that they produce. The final thing is that if you are selling at a market and vending at a market, and the market has a relationship with a food bank, I know that Poulsbo is a good example here. If you donate at the market to a local food bank, all you have to do is invoice us for that, and we will compensate you for donations at the market. Any questions?
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Thank you so much, Diane. Yeah, so great to hear, especially about purchasing overages. So just to wrap everything up, I want to reiterate, I sent that resource list that has some good links as well as the contact information to reach out to these market channels and yeah, get started with selling through them. I also want to give a little plug for WSU Regional Small Farms, which is connected to WSU Kitsap. We have a technical assistance program that we are here to support you, whether you have business planning questions, questions about permits and regulations. If we can't answer it, we can point you in the right direction. And then also in that resource list, I included an extensive list of lots of different local organizations that provide business planning support. So yeah, we have a few minutes left. I'm going to stop sharing. And I just wanted to open it up to people can unmute or they can put questions in the chat. I can also start us off, but I think I had a whole list of questions, but yeah, well, people are thinking of what they want to ask. I just wanted to hear from a few people. What advice do you have for farmers that are just starting out and exploring different market channels? What have you seen that really makes a farm successful when they're vending with you?
I'll chime in here. We have such high demand for produce in our farmers market. I know like sometimes farmers or people who are potentially going to want interested in vending at the market are like, oh, I already see 4 farmers here. There's probably no demand. But the truth is like the demand, I think all of the farmers markets and the co-op and all of these markets will tell you the demand is high. So there's very little beyond not showing up that it doesn't set you up for success at the market. Like just showing up, you're winning because people with our market, the first market is going to be a little slow because our customers like to feel you out and be like, what's your story? They're really inquisitive group. But after the first market, and when you show up again, they're like, all right, this person's in the family and you're just showing up is winning.
All right, that is great advice. Consistency especially is always really important when it comes to running a business. So
I would say that one of the things that we've done in the past too with the market match is that we have the ability to tailor some flyers and posters at the food banks. And so if you're a farmer that is selling to the Farm to Food Pantry program, we can like link that to the market that you vend at and the market match program, the SNAP market match program. So, hey, if you love the lettuce here at the Poulsbo at Fishline, do you realize that this farmer also vends at the Poulsbo Farmers Market, and you can find their product there, and you can use your market match there? So we've done a few of those things over the years. We've also done focus posts and promoted local farmers that are participating in the Farm to Food Pantry program on social media and some of those kinds of things. And so we do the best that we can to acknowledge everybody that is participating in the program, because we think that, well, we love our farmers.
All right, we
I
have.
was going to say too, sorry, if I could just jump in for a sec.
Go for it.
So we have on our website too, we have a producer profiles. And so we found that a lot of people will actually go and look for a particular producer, and our site will pop up a lot of times because each of our producers has their own profile page through our software. And so one of the advantages of that too, and something I think producers could take advantage of, not only from us, but from the other markets too, is to really think about what they want people to know, and to really develop like that information about who they are, and that information is what customers are looking for. So like for us, it's different because we're online, so not people aren't necessarily meeting face to face like they are at the farmers market. So it's a little different. But telling that story of what where they're coming from, and where they are even physically located, all those kinds of things are not obvious, I guess I would say, wherever a producer may be. So yeah, I think telling those stories, whether it's a new producer or someone that's been established, I think is really, really helpful for customers. So.
Great. Thank you, Julia. It's great to hear. We had a question about licensing and insurance with the Backyard Farmer program. And I said that one, it depends on the business licensing itself, some requirements for that, and also the insurance requirement depends on the market itself. But I was wondering if one of the markets that runs a Backyard Farmer program could answer that.
I can slightly answer it but I think maybe Port Orchard, because we haven't had anyone bite on that for us, even though we've kind of put that out there. But the business license, I think, yeah, 100%. But it's pretty simple to get. And then as far as I know, the insurance level is the same, though I think it might shift a little bit whether you have like a tent or not. But you can get kind of like temporary insurance, as far as I know. But I think Port Orchard would be better to answer this because they've actually actively done that, and we're learning from their example.
Yeah, that's a good response. Yeah, I think it really just comes down to the specific market that you're looking at, and then you'll be able to work with they'll be able to answer questions, and we can answer more specific questions as well that come up. We're a little bit over time, but I just wanted a chance to throw this question out there. What is the demand for flowers versus veggies at the different market channels? Does anyone want to answer that?
I can jump in real quickly and say that farmers that sell veggies or sell flowers do incredibly well. Bremerton is a little different than the other farmers market because we're a little more, it's like the afternoon and it's smaller. And so the flowers don't, they do all right, but not super well. But still really worth coming down and checking it out. But I think Port Townsend, or Port Orchard, what would one of the other markets chime in? Because I saw the Scandi Flower Farm in Poulsbo. How are they doing?
So yeah, I think it just depends. The answer to the question depends on the flower farmer, to be honest. So Scandi started with us last year. They were new and nobody had knew who they were. They now have been at this is their second season with us, and because they're consistently showing up and the customers have gotten, like I said, our customers want to know their vendors, and so they've got relationships with the customers that they know are going to come weekly and buy a bouquet from them. We have a couple of farmers who also sell bouquets, and they usually sell out of their flowers. But it's also a different style of flower. Like one, he does beautiful dahlias and everything, and but very classic looking, what you would see in Ballard Farmers Market type thing. And then we have a farmer who is selling bouquets that look, I like to call them wild. They've got a little bit more natural effect to them. And so there's a customer who appeals to that. So it really depends on what you're selling. I will say the only flowers vendors that I've seen struggle are the ones who don't show up consistently. When they only come to the market once a month, or it's really inconsistent depending on what they've got going on and if they can make time. Those are the flower vendors that I've seen struggle. But like I said, Scandi comes regularly, and they have really taken off and succeeded since they started at the market.
Yeah, we also like, so for online sales, we do have quite a few farmers that also do flowers, and we have a couple small flower farmers that sell through us, and they do really well. It's a little bit trickier because of the way it has to be brought in and just packaged, because it is dropped off and then has to be transported and then delivered or picked up from folks. So there's a little bit different process there, but we've had really good flower sales consistently.
I will echo Jane and say that the co-op has had a similar experience in Bremerton. We've tried consignment flower sales, and we've also tried purchasing wholesale from growers. And I think it really depends on the day. Like Fridays, we could sell 5 bouquets in an hour, and then the rest of the week, nothing. So I think right now it's given our location and the traffic we get. It's really a day to day. It varies by day. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for all the different questions. It looks like Jess put Jess Sappington from WSU Kitsap. She put a flower farmer resource in the chat, and it's all about wholesaling through West Sound Floral Exchange, which is another market channel if you are a flower farmer. And yeah, that wraps up. We're past time. Thank you, everyone who's hung in there. And I just want to thank all our different market channel representatives for coming tonight, sharing your stories, your energy, your time. It's kind of somewhat of a miracle that everyone's schedules worked out and we could all gather together. And yeah, this has just been really great. And this won't be the last of the conversation about how to sell at Kitsap and yeah, working with all the different farmers and food producers in the area. So glad to have you all here. And yeah, thanks everyone, and have a good night.
Thanks, Claire.
Good night, everyone. It was lovely to see you.
Good night. Thank you.
Claire. Good night.
Night.
Thank you.
Thank you.